What's up everyone, Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, December 20th, 2018. Second video of the day with a little bit more of a bearish tone. That is to say, we've been in a bear market all year long. These recent gains are nice, but they are nothing new. So we have to approach this market, in my opinion right now, with a bearish sentiment, meaning the bearish downtrend could potentially continue. And what do the technicals say in regards to that happening? So as you see on the screen, we have this long-term uptrend in Bitcoin, right? Many of these dips that you see on the screen towards the bottom of the trend line require patience, require some mental fortitude. But in terms of where Bitcoin is right now, we know one thing is for sure, and we've been covering this for a while now, leading down this bear market, which is to say, we've been covering this 786 on the Fibonacci, which is essentially this previous swing low in that bear market that we had a few years ago. It's that swing low right there, up to the swing high, all-time high, back down. This line right here is the 786 on the Fibonacci, which whether you're on a daily chart, a long-term, weekly chart, zoomed out chart, very important area for Bitcoin in terms of support, in terms of indicating a potential reversal. So as you can see, the synergy, the harmony between this last bear market and this bear market, we've entered into that area of that channel below the 786 on the Fibonacci. And that's a good thing in terms of trying to determine the bottom. But we need to keep in mind that there could be more downside. So what could that potentially look like and what could get us there? So let's go over to the daily chart. If you may have seen the video I did today on technical analysis for Bitcoin, where we are right now, and much of it, applies to this particular video, which is to say, yes, we've had a bounce, right? And we can get our price range right here. We've had a recent bounce for the last 4 days or so, right around 33%, right? And this chart right here is the Bitstamp chart. So just to give you an idea of what chart this is. So nice bounce, but what we talked about on the video is just the fact that we've had nice bounces before. No matter what the market is, we have nice bounces. But if you step outside the bullish perspective for a second, step outside the short-term euphoria, and it's really not difficult to see that right now we still have potentially a lower high in terms of this last lower high that we had. So we're seeing some resistance here at critical levels, and this can turn into just a lower high that leads us into a next lower low. So what this looks like in terms of the 4 hour is this, and it's a very, very simple area of resistance to look at. And we just talked about it in the other video, but we talked about it in context to breaking through it and continuing a bear market. Hence, you see the continuation of this rising wedge, right? That would play into that story. But in terms of this resistance that we're seeing right here, this Fibonacci resistance from that previous swing high to the swing low, we're right there, and you can see it on the screen. And as of right now, as I do this video, we have this very clear resistance already happening. And I'm going to just kind of draw the line right there. There it is. There's the 786 line. And you can see we've basically approached it 1, 2, around 3 times in these previous 4 hour candles, and we've seen rejection, right? We haven't successfully broken above that key Fibonacci 786 area. And the other thing happening right now is this 200 EMA is showing pretty strong resistance in terms of Bitcoin. And if we zoom out on this 4 hour chart, you can see the clear resistance that the 200 EMA really has shown for Bitcoin in this bear market, right? So this is going back into October. Back in the last time we actually broke above it was in August, but you can see we didn't stay above it. So right now we haven't even broken above it. We're seeing clear resistance at the 50 EMA on the 4 hour chart. that's not the best sign. We can take some time, however, since we are following this upward trend, right? We can take some time for some brief consolidation similar to this last move that we had, yesterday. We can take some time for a brief consolidation, but it's extremely critical at this point to not break through the bottom of this trend line in terms of this rising wedge for Bitcoin. Because if we see rejection at this 200 EMA with a breakthrough to the downside of this wedge, then we're going to have to start looking at 50 EMA supports. And this whole little mini bull run that we've had these last few days may fail. So if we do get failure, right? First off, we get that resistance, and then we get that failure. We're gonna be doing a lot of support videos instead of these bullish videos about resistance and breaking these resistant areas. We're going to be doing videos about support. So we have a 50 EMA support that we'll have to hold. We have this upper trend line of this wedge that we broke through. We're going to have to bounce off of, which is very possible. That could be a very bullish move, but Bitcoin has to hold. If none of these things hold, what will happen is we'll have this previous lower high. This will be defined as a new lower high. And then what we'll be looking for is potentially a new lower low somewhere most likely below $3,000. This is a bearish scenario. And it can also very much play into this bottom channel that we have on the screen, right? So it's not necessarily a bad thing long term. However, it's extremely realistic. I wanted to do a bearish type of technical analysis because on this channel throughout the year, we've talked about the fact that we like to look at the upside, we like to look at the downside so that we can manage our risk, we can analyze our own risk tolerance, and we can make our trades and accumulations however we see fit, however we are comfortable doing so, right? So this is all just context to help you understand the risk on the upside and downside. But right now, there is certainly risk in the fact that we break off of this 200 EMA. We don't get that breakthrough that we want. We see resistance, and we really just break back down and form a new lower low. That's completely in play right now, and I want to throw that out there. What we're looking for really in the long term, and this is just kind of to paint a picture of how much we have to go. We're looking for a move like this, okay? And I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit on the exits of the last bear markets. We're looking for a move which is right here. This cross of the 50 EMA above the 200 EMA. Now, you can see we almost had it, I guess a couple months or a month, a couple months before we got the breakout. We almost had it, but we saw rejection of that 50 EMA at the 200 EMA. Now, for context, that's what we want to see happen, right? That 50 EMA cross above the 200. For context to how far away we are from that, you can see right now, the 50 EMA hasn't even began turning upwards. So we have a ways to go. So if you're out there, if you're considering, accumulating, you don't want to, you have that FOMO mentality, you don't want to miss out, that's fine. Do whatever you feel comfortable, but also just please make your decisions with taking note of potential downside, because we have a ways to go before we climb out of this bear market. And you see it on the screen. The technicals, they do not lie, right? Emotions can lie. The technicals, the charts, they do not. Wanted to put this information out there. Let me know your thoughts. I think a lot of people think we are going lower. We're going to see resistance at these levels. Time will tell, but we do know this could be the setup for just a bounce off of a new lower high to create a new lower low. Time will tell. This could be the true bottom, but time will tell. So I appreciate everybody coming by today. Let me know your thoughts below, what you think is happening, what you think will happen, how you're making out there. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Love to have you as part of the channel. As always, we'll see you in the next video. Have an awesome day, and God bless.